Oh my goodness. The words of Galadriel disarmed me. I cannot imagine what they did for Gimli. Here is this dwarf who has just seen Moria, the heart of dwarven culture, ruined with his own eyes. He has seen the Balrog and had the confirmation of his people and the colony to be decimated. And as he's walking out of the gates of Moria, he casts his eyes down upon the Mirror, where the Song of Durin and the entirety of Moria is started. He bows his head and pays his respect, then is forced to run off to evade any attacks of the orcs. They come to the woods of Lothlorien, and there he is told he must put a blindfold on in order to walk through the elven parts. He resists for his honor. It's not right. The elves in their high and mighty places still hold these ridiculous and insane laws that look upon dwarves as the lowest of creatures. It's insane. And the dwarves aren't, innocent in that battle either. But when all the frustration is over in this, and they finally arrive before the Lady Galadriel, who says to them, "Welcome, Gimli, son of Gloin. It is long indeed since we saw one of Durin's folk in Caras Galadon. But today we have broken our long law. May it be a sign that though the world is now dark, better days are at hand, and that friendship shall be renewed between our people." I'm sorry, Gimli bowed low. "Dark is the water of Keled Zeram, and cold are the springs of Kibble Nalah, and fair were the many-pillared halls of Khazad-dûm in elder days before the fall of mighty kings beneath the stone." She looked upon Gimli, who sat glowering and sad, and she smiled. And the dwarf, hearing the names given in his own ancient tongue, looked up and met her eyes. And it seemed to him that he looked suddenly into a heart of an enemy and saw there love and understanding. Wonder came to his face, and he smiled in answer. He rose clumsily and bowed in dwarvish fashion, saying, "Yet more fair is the living land of Lorien, and the Lady Galadriel is above all the jewels that lie beneath the earth." I'm getting emotional just reading this and just reciting this. Oh my God. Before I keep going, just make sure you like the video and subscribe. This is a pretty terrible part to do this, but just as a reminder, I'm going through Lord of the Rings for the first time. And it's been an incredible experience so far by reading these chapters, and I'm just writing my thoughts and making all these videos. I love all your guys' responses too. It just gives me such joy. And if you want, you can support this channel by becoming a member. But please make sure you subscribe to continue getting the videos and just to follow along on my journey through these books and some others, as I'm going to start through Harry Potter in the next week or so. And we'll start up a podcast with some of my other friends who are reading it for the first time as well. Lord of the Rings, that is. We'll live stream some of our discussions, so that will come out in the next few weeks. Because these books are so beautiful and just so worthy of our attention. And I cannot get over the beauty of what Galadriel did here. The very words she spoke are dripping with meaning, like the rains that fall gently on the leaves of Lorien. They become such a balm for Gimli and give him the exact amount of comfort and hope he needs in order to keep on going and fighting, even though he's just seen Moria in darkness. I think dwarves have become my favorite race in Middle-earth. Gimli, easily the character I find the most honorable and noble. He pays his respect in ways that the others don't seem to do. Not that the others don't respect hallowed lands, but Gimli just does so much more. Particularly with his dwarven culture in full display in Moria. I cannot tell you how many times I've listened to John Rhys Davies reading the Song of Durin. And this poem has such an incredible meaning as well. It's essentially like a messianic resurrection pronouncement that Durin will be resurrected and Moria will be renewed as a place it was in the days of Durin. I'm not a part of Middle-earth, but I just find this the most beautiful piece of writing in the book so far. I cannot get it out of my head. Until this one little moment when I think this moment with Gimli and Galadriel is the single most important and beautiful thing that has happened in these books so far. And for this poem, this Song of Durin, I don't know why I've grown such an affinity for the dwarves and particularly Gimli, but I feel and I hurt for him. I mean, I think the first thing that the company does, namely go through the dead homelands of the dwarves, shows maybe why I love Gimli so much. He was kind of the main character in a very side character kind of way. It was a necessary journey to get through the mountains, but everyone knew for Gimli it was a different kind of journey. This last stanza of this song: "The world is gray, the mountains old. The forge's fire is ashen cold. No harp is rung, no hammer falls. The darkness dwells in Durin's halls. The shadow lies upon his tomb, in Moria and Khazad-dûm. That is so dark. It's hopeless until the last 4 lines. But still the sunken stars appear in dark and windless Mirror. There lies his crown in water deep, till Durin wakes again from sleep." I've honestly gotten close to just committing it to memory for the sheer amount of times I listened. And it's weird because Galadriel kind of speaks in the same way that Tom Bombadil speaks, but in a totally different way at the same time. When Tom Bombadil speaks, it's as if everything was still in song. Even the non-song things that he said were still lyrical and beautiful. Galadriel, on the other hand, says things that seem to cut to the soul of a person and give them exactly what they need at that moment. She has a simple way of seeing through people. When she speaks to Gimli, these lines: "Dark is the water of Khaled-Zeram, and cold are the springs of Kibble Nalah, and fair were the many-pillared halls of Khazad-dûm in elder days before the fall of mighty kings beneath the stone." They are just reused lines of Durin's song. But it feels like the most important song of the dwarves. One of the highest elves in Middle-earth is saying these lines, and they are enough to thaw out the pain and the hurt and the stone heart that Gimli has because of the actions of the elves. For years, he's held on to that bitterness and that anger. And with one small little paragraph, Galadriel sounds like she's offering somewhat of an apology, as well as this incredible hope and expectation of what Gimli longs for perhaps the most. And here is the beauty of a well-meaning and well-placed word to someone who is struggling and has hardened himself or herself. She looked upon Gimli, who sat glowering and sad, and she smiled. And the dwarf, hearing the names given in his own ancient tongue, looked up and met her eyes. And it seemed to him that he looked suddenly into the heart of an enemy and saw there love and understanding. Wonder came into his face, and then he smiled in answer. And that is the most powerful thing that has happened in this book thus far. And I'm not overstating that. That was the greatest and the most beautiful moment that I have experienced in this book. I feel like I'm pretty much saying that after every single chapter, but I think this one has hit me the hardest. I just feel and felt what Gimli was feeling. I related to him. I started to dislike the elves because Gimli, and because of how they were treating him walking into Lothlorien. And now Galadriel has caught me off guard, and I feel hope again. I feel as if this man standing in front of Galadriel is the resurrected form of Durin. His strength, his honor, his forgiveness, and his ability to see what he thinks is in the heart of an enemy, but changes to recognize love and understanding. It just makes me feel an appreciation for Gimli that I don't really think I can explain or flesh out yet. There's just this one thing that someone did to disarm him. And then Gimli's ability to change in this moment because of the beautiful words of Galadriel is the most beautiful moment in the entirety of the Fellowship of the Ring. But I'll probably say something is more beautiful in the next chapter, so watch out. And make sure you like and subscribe and become a member for some fun perks. I'll see you in the next one.